Hello, Antriksh. Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hey brother, how are you, man?
Good, good. Dhillon, you're on top of the world.
Yeah, always. Nice to see you, brother.
Good, good.
So your beard
Manu,
is
congratulations on
Thank
getting
you,
the
sir.
excellent keynote NSA of India.
Thank you so much, sir. It's all your blessings.
No, not my blessing, your hard work.
No. It's all your. So there are times when Antriksh used to, and still works harder than most of the people here. He always used to follow up with me. What happened to your keynote? What happened to your speaker? Do you want this guy? I can get you this guy. So all of you know him. Like I don't have to give a, introduction about.
who doesn't know him, man? He's so famous.
That's
yo.
what. He's very famous.
No, because I was a bit worried because how am I going to invite these guys? Because I'm not. I was kind of confused. Like should I do this or not? Then I called Manu sir. Sir, you'll have to help me. I cannot do this.
Then I handed it over to Antriksh.
The only reason everybody knows me is because I don't drink alcohol and I make everybody else drink.
That's also a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You always need somebody to pick you up after you get drunk.
Designated driver.
Yeah. I don't want to use that.
Adam, why are you being silent?
Abhijit, is there a way I can change my display name without logging off? Like, do you know? Do you guys know? Like,
Yes. Maybe Aditya, could you please change his?
yeah. I think from here. Rename. I got it. Thank you.
Dhillon, I'm jealous of your amazing, beautiful BMW.
Yeah, it's a damn nice car, man. I love that car. Every time I get inside, I start it, I just smile like an idiot, It's like it just like brings a smile to my face every single day. Every time I drive it, I'm like damn happy. So in a way, it's good that I'm locked down at home, so I can drive it more. If not, I'm always overseas, right? Like the car just sitting at home. Like I come back home, like damn it, I haven't driven it at all. Like the mileage hasn't moved.
Dhillon, do you know Jairam Ramesh, who was with Impact? He's from Kuala Lumpur.
That name sounds familiar. I don't think I know him personally.
Okay, he was with the Impact. If you
Okay, yeah, I know Impact.
Yeah,
of course.
So he was with. I know. And before that,
with Impact.
Why are you laughing so much about it? What's the story behind it?
Inside joke.
We can, discuss it offline, not when the recording is on, right?
Yeah. I see the red recording. It's an offline conversation.
Yeah.
Good times.
So he was a speaker, like he just finished a panel. So I thought probably if you know him.
I think I know him, but not personally.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 2 more minutes. Abhijit, do you want to say anything? You want to pep us up anything, or you just want us to make fun of each other and?
That would be perfect because I thought like I said, I thought I should make an introduction about then I thought that is not a good idea. Totally, that is not a good idea. So maybe we can have a casual discussion about because we are all too much is going on, right? Because of the COVID situation and cybersecurity incidents are happening every week, like every weekend to be precisely. So it's like there are no weekends. So we can have a general discussion about what is going on in the cybersecurity world. What is the impact of offensive cybersecurity, and the attack simulation tactics and all those stuff. So because we are talking about the attack simulation every day, like mimicking the actions of an adversary.
Okay, I'm back.
Even then, we are meeting a lot of new attack vectors and all those stuff almost every week. For the past 6 months, right? So maybe just a casual discussion. Then and at the end we can just kickstart the village talks. So that's it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Adam, do we call you Adam or do we call you Major?
Major.
Call me whatever you want.
I have been shouted by Adam twice because of calling him Adam.
Yeah, it's kind of normal now. People call me Adam. But yeah, in the old days over in Vegas, nobody knew who Adam was. So you say, talk to Adam, they wouldn't know who you were talking about. But you say talk to Major, then people know who you're talking about. So it's fine. Either way, but now a lot of people know me as RF Idiot as well, because that's my Twitter handle. So
Right.
got too many handles.
Major Adam. So that's what we call you.
So, Antriksh, I have seen the CFE for Nullcon is open. So, how do you what do you guys think? Should it be a physical event? Because
I have been approached by a lot of bug bounty hunters and researchers saying that, hey, when are you organizing the next conference? And when we announced CFP, they reached out to us saying, is it going to be hybrid, virtual, physical? At the moment, we have planned to organize it physically. We have spoken to the hotel as well, but you never know, there could be a situation where we may not be allowed to organize the conference physically. So the dates are quite flexible. Hence, we have not announced the dates. Only thing we've planned is for the month of March. And based on the situation by December, we may change it to either a hybrid or a complete online and stuff like that. So we'll have to explore how it goes.
awesome.
But a lot of people I have seen are now frustrated sitting at home. They're not able to interact. I mean, there are a lot of conferences being happening around everywhere. Dhillon has been doing it, Manu and myself as well. But a lot of us, I'm sure, miss that personal interaction, the bond creation, making new friends and making new enemies as well. So this is something, at least the conference organizers, all of us miss. So
you can't replace that. I mean, there's no way to replicate that. You know what I mean? Like even Discord, even Zoom, whatever, right? Like that camaraderie of having a face-to-face conversation just cannot be replaced. But hey, we do what we can, right?
Yeah, so probably this is one of the first Cocoon conference that we are organizing without a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so weird. This year, like, on the Hack in the Box conference, all the Dutch guys are saying, like, I mean, this sucks, man. There's no party, there's no speakers reception, there's no beer, can't hang out. And it's like, yeah, maybe we should just send beer to each other and then we open it at home. You know what I mean?
Well, you do like, did any of you ever do SummerCon? You know, the conference SummerCon?
Yeah, I never been to SummerCon.
Oh.
Yeah, they had the policy that every time you change slide, you have to take a drink.
Oh,
that sounds like WhiskeyCon. Have you guys been to WhiskeyCon in Singapore?
Yeah, WhiskeyCon. Yeah. I mean, it's difficult with the time zones because it's like 9:30 in the morning here, so I really don't want to be presenting and drinking at 9 in the morning. But,
it's 5 o'clock somewhere, bro.
But actually, that's the thing. I mean, I find with these virtual conferences, particularly pre-recorded stuff, I don't know about you guys, but I find it really difficult to present just to a camera in my empty room. Even stuff like this, where you have a bit of feedback, you've got some faces looking back at you. I could present to this, but I just really have trouble with the technology trying to present slides just to a camera, to a recording. I can't do it. It comes out so flat and so it looks like I'm falling asleep. So how do you guys find it? Is there some trick you have to being able to put slides together to an empty room?
So with my experience of at least running hardware online, I requested my speakers to not do any recorded talks because the audience feedback was not very good. Because it's the same thing, like watching it on YouTube rather than having it in person. And just to get the feedback from the attendees or the audience, I requested at least my conference team to make sure you have your camera on. I don't care what's in your background, you use Zoom like a filter or something, but at least have your faces, so people can really see your smile or your dirty tooth or something that way. And the speaker can at least see that, hey, he's not talking to a blank screen, he's talking to people which are around. So that's what we did. But people are still shy, as Adam said that, people are not comfortable using technology. So people are still shy switching on their cameras when they attend a conference or a webinar as well.
Yeah, one of the problem that we heard from the speakers is like they don't have a place, like a good place where they can peacefully sit and deliver the talk. So, if they want to do it in the office, they have to get the permission from the office. From home, probably some noise or power disruption. So these are the kind of practical issues to all these, or the challenges, I would say.
I have one question to ask both to Dhillon and Manu. You all both have run conferences online with sponsors. What is the ROI that the sponsors are getting? I mean, how do you convince them to give you the money? Because it was difficult for me, so that's why I don't have any sponsors for my.
Don't forget, this is being recorded. Okay, you're discussing
and going live
and going live also. So it's, yeah, Dhillon, probably you can start. It's up to you.
Thanks, Manu. It's not easy, bro. It's definitely not easy. Like trying to find where the value will come from is difficult because each sponsor is different, right? Different people want different things. Different sponsors have different expectations. So it kind of like is trying to match what they want with what is possible, especially when it's remote and when it's virtual, right? There's certain things that just cannot. How are you going to do a party, right? Like you can't. But you could run a competition if like you're trying to engage with people. There's other ways of doing it, right? Like so, it's just kind of like you need to think outside the box. But then, at the end of the day, a lot of people are hoping that things will go back to normal, right? So sometimes it's like the sponsors will say like, okay, we'll take a break and then come back next year, hoping that next year will be better. But everybody predicted end of this year we will be back to normal as well. But that's not happening, man. Like we are still at home. So, I think sometimes sponsors also, it's just kind of managing the expectations and kind of explaining to them that like, there's a possibility that even if you hold off and you do it later, it's still not going to be better. It's still going to be the same old thing. So, might as well try. Never try, never know.
Yeah, right. My point is like the first thing is, even I discussed this with Antriksh also, the sponsorship amount is not the same old amount. It's almost like I would say 40 to 50%. So the expectation also is, cut short. That is point number one. Second is what best feasible things we can provide. For example, virtual booths we are providing. More mileage through logos and probably a couple of webinars, pre-conference webinars promoting the some speakers from them. These are some of the things that as a conference organizer you can do, and then probably this will help the the organization. I'm not talking from the conference perspective, but the client, the conference clients, like this is one platform to show that they are still doing business or they are active in the business, even if physical conferences are not there. So, showing their presence is one point that they can do or they can achieve through these sponsorship, even though the amount is nowadays not the same as how it used to be. So these are 3 points that I would like to add to what Dhillon said.
And Adam, how can you help all three of us?
Sorry, how can I help all three of you?
Yeah, IBM.
Just with huge sponsorship. Yeah, we pay for everything. We'll provide you with limos to your screens in the morning, free coffee with every talk. I wish. I don't control the sponsorship, but yeah.
So Adam, you've been playing around a lot with hardware, right? And you manage the hardware team at IBM Expos. What are the challenges? I mean, hardware, you need your lab, you need your setup. So how is the community interacting, at least in the hardware space? I mean, I can understand in the software, you can work remotely, but hardware, you need equipments, you need data sheets, you need to interact with a colleague to understand how things work. So how is the hardware community interacting? Do you think there is a slowdown, or what is it?
I don't think there's a slowdown. I mean, the testing is we're still going ahead with projects, and we're still doing a lot of testing. And actually, in a way, there's more time for the teams to think about what they need to do and what needs testing and so on. But the actual delivery is more complicated. So it's not that we're not doing it. It's just what traditionally would have been a team travels to the client or a team travels to the lab. So very often with very complex hardware tests, you've got a requirement that you do some of the testing on site because it needs to work in their environment with communications to specific backends, or they have radio protocols that are in development or whatever. So there isn't a live environment you can work in. You have to go and work in their test environment. So there's challenges of how you can bring that test environment to the testers instead of taking the testers to the test environment. And actually that makes it quite interesting. There's some quite innovative techniques that we're doing for things like radio stuff. So for example, we actually took one of the techniques from the challenge, which I did at Dhillon's event in Abu Dhabi. I helped to run the capture the packet competition there, capture the signal, sorry. And they did a virtual RF platform where you're actually communicating over IP channels to a remote radio. So what we can do is we can say if it's like an unknown RF protocol where we're working in a completely test environment, we can literally send those guys an SDR and say, plug this in, and here's it's got a Raspberry Pi or whatever running, and we connect to that SDR over the internet through a virtual connection. And so we're running all our tools here in the UK, but that SDR can be physically anywhere in the world. But we're interacting with it in the same way we would if we were sat in the room. So we've brought the signals, across the internet into our test environment. So, that's a really simple solution, but it needs some out-of-box thinking to make it happen. So we're finding those kind of solutions to each problem as we find them. Most of it, where you actually need physical access to the device. Again, the solution is relatively simple because the tools now that you need are not so expensive. It's not like in the old days where you had a lab with millions of dollars worth of equipment that you needed. For each specific test, you might need a microscope or a logic analyzer or whatever. You might be talking a few $1,000s, not hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the tooling. It's the expertise that you need, not the physical tools. Physical tools are almost commodity now. That's the expertise.
How much of the hardware or the test cases can you emulate? I mean, for me, I have this problem that, I cannot ship a lot of hardware to my team while doing testing as well, right? So how much of tools or things can be emulated? Like you mentioned with the RF village that you did for Dhillon, anybody could connect over the internet and capture the signal and, put it in whatever Wireshark and analyze it. But with hardware, how much can you do? How much of the tools, like 20%, 30% can be emulated?
Well, I mean, it's the same, again, it's kind of the same situation that if you can get the tool connected to the device, it doesn't really matter where the controller for that tool is. It's a mixture. So, if it's a logic analyzer, you're putting the probes in the right place on the circuit board. It doesn't matter if that's done remotely and then I connect to that logic analyzer over the internet, or I do it physically in my own space. But again, the difficulty is having the skills to look at that circuit board and decide, what is it that I need to probe onto. So, tools like this, like Zoom, you can have a virtual conference with someone where they're pointing a camera. And again, I mean, you've got a speaker, John McMaster, who's doing some stuff on chip decapping. So I've been working with him over the last couple of months. And again, lockdown, there's, the swings and roundabouts. Because of lockdown, we've got more time to work on these kind of projects, which are little sideline projects. But I've been working with John, and he's actually developed some very nice frameworks for talking directly to microscopes, so to the cameras on the microscopes. So I've now got a situation where I can stream the live output from my microscope to a colleague who maybe is working in Austin, Texas, and I'm working in the UK, and we can look at a microscope in real time and be poking around, and we're looking at the same image as if we were in the room together. So, there's a lot of stuff you can do to collaborate using the tools like Zoom and Discord and so on, and just feeding your live streams into it. It's just a question of where you capture those live streams from. So.
Dhillon, I know your favorite topic is AI and machine learning. I know you've been working on it for a real long time. And since you've been also organizing conferences, do you see a future or a new platform where we could have AI inbuilt to make it more personal for people to interact at conferences, for speakers to interact with the attendees? Your thoughts on how can we use AI or ML to make the conferences or the conference organizers' life much more easy?
I don't know whether we are ready, the AI is going to be ready for that. But essentially, I think the use cases, there are so many use cases for AI and ML, at least in terms of surfacing up interesting conversations that might be going on, or watching the stream and highlighting certain text when you put in keywords, for example, and following because Discord, for example, right? If there's 1,000 fellas chatting in the channel, it's impossible to follow, bro. Like, it's just like a waterfall, right? Like, so having AI would kind of like watch that and kind of like look for what you might be interested in, and then surface up those conversations and maybe say, these dudes are talking about certain things that you might be interested in as well. So maybe you should start up a side chat with them or something. I think that's possible today, right? It's just a matter of like training the models, but it'll be interesting, definitely.
So to add that, so you guys know that like Cortana is kind of a service along with Office 365 now, right? So recently I got a mail from Cortana stating that I forgot to send some credential to someone. I was like, what is happening? Because I could not believe it in the beginning, because Cortana is telling me that I got a mail from Cortana stating that I'm supposed to send someone some credentials and I haven't sent it yet. It's been 5 days. Cortana for Office 365. I was like, okay. So I don't know what is happening.
One thing I think that could be interesting is live language translation. So, for example, right now, we're all speaking in English, right? But let's just say we had a conference where, remote participants. So we have this issue where we have a lot of super smart researchers submit talks, right? And maybe they're from China, and so English is not their first language. And so when you listen to their presentation, you kind of feel like maybe it's not as well polished. It's mainly because if I asked you to present in French, you probably screw it up as well. You know what I mean? Like, so having maybe using AI in order for the presenter to present in their native language. So the audio stream will not be translated in real time. Maybe not just yet. Maybe in the future when there's 5G and there's enough bandwidth and processing power possible. But even just the text captioning alone. I don't know if you guys have played around with GPT-3, but it's like not so stuff, man. Like the ability for it to do sentence completion and actually do the pair matching and stuff. doing, something like that, where the speaker can then present in their language that they're most comfortable in, but the audience gets the closed captions that are translated correctly, and it's like, proper. That I think could be not far away, and would make a big difference, I think, for at least remote conferences or, remotely delivered content.
That's an interesting one. I mean, are there companies doing live closed captioning for this kind of stuff? Because I know at DEF CON we have a team that goes and sits in every room and they do the closed captioning.
Yeah. So
live.
I mean,
there's no reason they couldn't do that remote.
Precisely, but it's human intensive at the moment, right? Like it requires actual people to do the transcribing. And I think Code Blue in Japan, they have live on the fly translation. So you wear headsets when you're at the conference, and like they're doing the live translation for you. And apparently, if I'm not wrong, they can only, like, each translator can only work for like 2 hours or 3 hours, because it's mentally exhausting. Like they will slip up, right? So I think, and if we're talking about like a live stream, kind of a multi-track conference with speakers presenting all over the world at all times, that doesn't scale, right? Like you'll need so many people to do the translation that maybe offloading it where the bulk, 90-something% of the translation is done and only a human checks it for accuracy, that could work, I think.
Interesting. I'll have to run that by the Watson team, see what they say.
I'm just going to say that, bro. You're IBM, man. Definitely you guys will have this stuff ready.
Totally.
Adam, if IBM does not have it, Dhillon gets a royalty. Don't worry.
Yeah, you heard it here first, right?
I just want the t-shirt. It's cool.
Yeah. Abhijit, do you want to let us know what's you're on mute?
I'm sorry. I was talking on mute.
Yeah. So with red teaming, right, with the village, how was it for you? Did you see interesting talks? Do you want to talk to us about the sessions you're going to have lined up for KuCon? I know Adam is speaking, but what kind of submissions have you been seeing?
Yeah, because usually that, right? We usually focus heavily on offensive security and attack simulation related sessions. So we want to focus on a certain area only, because there are many villages, many conferences. They are all focusing on entire cybersecurity, AppSec, all those things, right? So we wanted to focus only on offensive security tactics and attack simulation, red teaming, similar things, because that is the way for for us to learn as well as spread that knowledge, because there are a lot of misconception going on, right? A lot of people are nowadays taking announcing pen testing as normal pen testing or assessment as red teaming security assessment. So that is not the actual truth. So you want to spread that kind of knowledge. That's the first part. So for KuCon, this year we have amazing set of talks lined up. We wanted to go live, perform live talks in the beginning, but because of we cannot trust, internet and all those things, right? So only because of that, we decided to, a couple of talks are pre-recorded, and other half is live sessions, mostly on hands-on. Most of them, 95% of the talks are technical only. How we can do, and this kind of stuff. We also got a couple of very, very nice speakers who are doing excellent work in their fields. That is, if you're looking at the speaker line, we can see a lot of people are even announcing their new tools with respect to privilege escalation and many other technical aspects of cybersecurity. And we do receive a lot of CSP submissions, and most of them are related to different. They're all cool, really cool submission. I know how hard it is, right? You're that guy who could understand that. So we are getting a lot of cool submissions, but most of them are related to AppSec, network security, and all those things, right? And sometimes even if the content is very nice, we will have to avoid it, because we are only focusing on this attack simulation and related stuff. That's the only hard part.
I remember reading a blog a long time ago. I don't know which companies was it, but there was the blog titled Ninjas versus Pirate, and they segmented ninja.
Pirates.
Yeah. So ninjas were the people who do red teaming, and pirates are the people who do pen testing. Because I believe, I think in the description of the blog, it said that if you're a ninja, you are more sophisticated and trained, so you can do a better red team. And if you're a pirate, your job is just to gather as many as vulnerabilities as you can. So I remember that interesting blog that I read a long time
Yeah,
ago.
just like the ninja is so discreet so that he can get into anywhere, anytime, and get back to his hometown, right? In case of pirate, they are always behind this treasure. So they are kind of treasure hunters. They just go everywhere. They just collect
Yeah,
whatever they
pirates
can.
always get the booty.
Yeah, pirate. And pirates are also, very, very rich guys because, they get bounties from everywhere, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Really nice example. So I always used to tell, for example, if I'm even taking a training or workshop, I was a pen tester for a long time. Okay, so I used to share this story all the time because I used to tell people, just imagine, you got some money or you got some like expensive diamonds, and you are storing it in your house, and you are kind of paranoid that someone will get into your home and someone will steal your diamonds. Then you just start hardening your house. Then you're just building a very long wall around your house. Then you are just buying a couple of watchdogs, then some guards. So I used to explain this as a different layers of security. So if someone wants to get into your home, they'll just bribe your guards. They'll just kill your dogs, or then they will start to make some look for some back doors and get inside, then steal your safe, which is having the diamonds. So I used to tell even share this story in Malayalam so that people could relate. What exactly are we doing? Things like that. So always, a nice example would could convey, the backend functionality in an easier way.
It's an interesting point that you make because a lot of times I think people forget the human element. Like if you were going to rob a bank, right? Like you're not going to go through the front door, through the firewall, through the whatever IDS.
No.
You're going to get an insider to plug a USB stick into something, and then that's it, game over. You know what I mean? Because like it's so much easier to just get somebody who is like dissatisfied, not happy with their job, or even just curious. Like if you just I don't know, like just go to a parking lot and just throw around some USB sticks, chances are somebody's going to pick it up and plug it in. It's like human nature, right? And then like boom, brand, I'm in, brother. No ODs needed. All I just needed was somebody to click on it.
No. Even now, most of these organizations, they are heavily spending or heavily fortifying their perimeter only. They are not actually thinking about the human factor. That's where most of the attacks can, happen. It is a fact because I'm working with I have been working with different companies so far. So there most of them, if you're looking generally as well, most of them are fortifying their perimeter security, heavily fortified. That's a fact.
How is red team exercise and assessments happening during COVID? I mean, I have no idea if there is anybody doing any kind of red teaming exercise because
No.
Red teaming requires a lot of social engineering as well. As Dhillon mentioned, you need to physically go or drop some USB sticks around. I have no idea. Does
the physical part?
experience?
Yes, Andre. The physical part may not be happening, but everything else is happening 10 times higher compared to the previous time. Because if you're the incidents are happening once in every week, because people are almost working from home. The chances are because most kind of 60% of the companies they used to their work culture is physical only. They never had the luxury of working from home, right? So within 2 to 3 months, they had to develop a work from home setup infrastructure. So there are they're supposed to be vulnerable, right? So that's where these attackers are mostly concentrating, and phishing campaigns they're happening way too often during this COVID situation. All these attack simulation tactics, attack simulation exercises, phishing campaigns, a lot of stuff are happening. Even though some companies, they created work from home infrastructure VPNs without two-factor authentication and related stuff. So it kind of really easy for the attackers to get into the corporate infrastructure. I mean, corporate laptop, from then pivot from there, from then perform lateral movement from there.
Yeah, if you think about it, you've got all these VPN, excuse me, all these VPNs are now just popping up in people's home environments with very little control of what's actually in that environment. So you've not only exposed those individuals, but your entire corporate network is now plugged directly into millions of incredibly insecure environments. So if anything, that level of testing is much more important now than it's ever been.
Yeah, Antriksh sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Antriksh, so I was just saying, if anybody knows you or probably Asim, they can send you a, they can ship a goodies pack with an infected USB. Lockdown doesn't matter.
Maybe a crypto wallet, Bitcoin wallet,
Yeah,
hardware wallet.
yes. Something. I mean, as a token of appreciation, we are sending venture, and we all will plug it in.
Manu, I'm waiting for c0c0n goodies. It's not yet been delivered to me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If somebody knows you, like, okay, he can send it as if they are sending it from c0c0n or XYZ.
Well, what's scary now is there's so much stuff plugging in to your home, with IoT and stuff like this that is opening up channels that you weren't even aware. I mean, my TV died and I had to get a new TV. And when I plugged it in and you go through all the menu setups, there's all this stuff pops up, Bluetooth is configuring itself, Google Voice, it's got a built-in, I've got like 2 different TVs. One has Amazon Fire Stick built into it, and they all have these voice channels that you talk to your remote, and it feeds back to the back end, which then does voice recognition and so on. So effectively, you've got an open mic in your living room. So plus all of the various tracking systems and so on to look at what you're watching, and each of those things is a potential backdoor into your environment. And we're not even aware that we're plugging them in anymore. You barely notice anymore. I did a scan in the 2.4 gigahertz range in my entrance hall, and I found 5 devices I didn't even know existed that were just in that environment, that have been plugged in over the last few years, and I had no idea they were there. And they, I counted for them all in the end, but figuring out what is this Bluetooth thing, I've got some BLE thing that's sitting here, and I have no idea what it is. It's got some really obscure name, and you eventually track it down. It's that loudspeaker that also has a Bluetooth function that I'm not using. There's all this IoT stuff that's creeping in as well. That's really needs looking at.
Yeah, actually, you're talking about now how corporates have to modify their policies because everybody's working from home. Once upon a time, we were really concerned about bring your own device, BYOD, right? Now you're bringing your own network, bro. Have my house network. Let it be part of my VPN. So yeah, it's a completely different set of problems that nobody really thought about. I mean, of course, we had to come up with some kind of stopgap solutions so that people could get work done. But with now, it's just becoming kind of like part and parcel of your everyday, right? You have a Zoom call, you have a whatever, some cloud account to make sure your calendars are synced and stuff. And it's just nobody really checked what's going on with that data. Where is it sitting? Can you actually use it? Is it against the corporate policy? Nobody cares. It's like, bro, just get it done, man. Get it done first. We'll figure out the policy later.
Excellent point, Dhillon, because now everybody's bringing their network home, and also all the eyeballs from the attackers and hackers to your house, to your personal life, your personal computer. So, Dhillon, you travel a lot between various geographic regions, and everybody among all of us use VPNs to ensure at least some kind of surveillance is not done. But today, if I have to travel, I use a VPN, but I keep changing my VPN almost every 3 months because I don't want to rely on one service provider. What is the best suggestion that you all have to share, to ensure there's no surveillance or there's no monitoring happening onto you?
Okay, so I'm going to go first. I think for me, it's more of like understanding what is it you're trying to secure, right? Like, as in what you're trying to protect. And like, yeah, sure, you can rotate your VPN and stuff, but a really well-funded attacker, so I'm talking about like nation state level kind of things, right? This VPN stuff ain't gonna help you, bro. Right? They probably already got some 0 day that you can just like send you an SMS or just call your phone and nothing happens, and then it's just like 0 day, right? So I mean, I just assume at some point I've gone through so many international borders, so many airports, so many countries. I've gone to so many events that most likely that somebody somewhere, maybe multiple governments have backdoors on my phone anyway. So it's just like, hello. So I don't really bother with switching VPNs. As in, I use Avast, I think, is what I normally use. And then sometimes I have like OpenVPN, it's our own VPN connection. So it just depends on which one is fastest. Sometimes a certain network you try and connect is like, damn it, OpenVPN doesn't work. So let's try another one, right?
It's again it depends on from where you're doing your browsing. I mean, are you browsing from your or within? I mean, using your official laptop from your organization's network, or using your mobile phone, using your personal laptop. So I think there is a factor, because I'm telling this because a couple of years ago, I have seen a product, something like a user behavior analysis product. So this one, usually corporation, most of the big organizations are using this. So we all know that all of our user activities, endpoint logs are being collected, right? And collected by the blue teammates, right? So also these logs are getting transferred to this big data user analytics platform, and they are kind of analyzing using some kind of AI technologies and algorithms, and the end they'll be sharing a dashboard. So because if you're looking at the dashboard, you could very easily see that some employee is watching what are the activities or what is the user behavior. Is this employee is there any chances that this employee will be soon leaving the organization very soon? I was kind of amazed seeing that dashboard. They built this based on the based on our internet history and all those stuff which is happening in the laptop, end user laptop. Just imagine how scary that would be. When organizations can do this, then on a large scale, other actors can do it, right? So that's kind of very scary to see that.
Yeah, it's really important to maintain separation between apart from the fact that your employer might be watching what you're doing and figuring out if you're busy searching for another job or something, but you have a responsibility to the organization, same as the organization has a responsibility to you.
Yes.
But your organization should be providing you with the tools in order to work safely from home. So that means a dedicated laptop and some kind of help with setting up your home environment. And there's really no reason why, even if you're coming in on home broadband, all of these home broadband routers have the capability to create a separate, DMZ or whatever that you can plug your corporate network into, and that's the only thing that connects from the outside world. So you're protecting your home environment from the corporate network, as well as protecting the corporate network from your home environment. And keep separation in your head as well as physically as much as you can. So I have a work laptop. I don't do home stuff on my work laptop. I have my own computers to do if I want to watch Netflix or whatever. I don't fire it up on my corporate laptop. I fire it up on my home laptop. So, but as I say, it's not a one-way street. Just because you're having to work from home doesn't mean you have to do all the heavy lifting to make sure that's secure. Your company needs to support you and provide you with the tools to do that, the right VPN and the right advice on how to use that VPN. So that's really important.
I think we are running almost out of time. Manu, Abhijit, any final words? But before that, I want to ask one question to Manu. Which is the most
Yeah.
awaited session that you would want to watch during KubeCon?
Say again. Your
Which is the
voice was
most
getting.
awaited session, or what's one thing that's very exciting for you in running this year's KubeCon?
Yeah, so it was definitely the NSA's talk, the first one. So that luckily got over, and there was no technical glitches that time. And so that, I mean, to answer straight, that's the question. And now we have a couple of more good keynote sessions, as well as other good technical session, both from our Red Team Village as well as the other technical talks happening. So yes, pretty much here, but the most awaited one was the NSA's talk.
And are you running it in a hybrid mode? Because I see, you actually have a background with you and stuff. So
Yes.
is your
I'll
team
just show
running?
you. This is the. I'll just show you. This is the operational area. It's streaming like. So we have hired a hotel only like.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So there is one team here. There is another backup location. So in case something happens here, we have one more location from where we'll operate.
Super nice. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Antriksh, you see some interesting chat questions. You know that person. That's the only clue I can give. Okay, we all know that person. Posting that question. Okay, he knows. I mean, we all know that person who is right now posting the questions on how to hack Facebook. Okay.
My only response would be is Facebook has a bug bounty program, which is available on HackerOne and Bugcrowd. So please use that if you want to hack and find bugs in Facebook.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, we have. Now we can, officially announce, officially kickstart the technical talks from, Red Team Village. So we are, the first talk would be, from Chloe. That is, that talk. There is very much. That talk is having a very much impact on the current scenario, current, COVID situation, because as I mentioned earlier, because of, we are working from home. Maybe we are working for our organization, or maybe we are doing some other things. We are kind of sitting in front of our machines, or we are spending on our work desk more than 16 to 18 hours per day. So that's kind of happens nowadays, like, I know that personally. So that is one of the expected talk with respect to the current trends in cybersecurity. So we are also having a couple of really nice hands-on talks related to offensive cybersecurity. So maybe you guys can officially, announce that we are kickstarting this village talks.
Yeah. So Antriksh, you can do that honors.
All I can say is thank you, Manu, for inviting me, and thank you, Abhijit. It's great to be a part of this kickoff session. I think it's really nice to at least meet Dhillon, Adam, Manu online and face to face. We always bump into each other at each other's events, but this is nice at least. Thanks, Manu, for arranging this, and Abhijit for inviting us at least.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
for
Thank
joining
you, Adam,
Thank you,
Dhillon,
guys.
Manu,
Enjoy the
Antriksh for
conference.
joining this. Thanks a lot.
Thank
And Adam,
you.
next time we are going to catch you for sure.
Definitely, I'm coming. I'm booking my ticket as soon as you announce the date.
Awesome.
So hope to catch up with you all probably at Nullcon or
Nullcon.
HITV very soon. Not in the virtual world, but probably
In the real world with real drinks.
Yes.
Real drink.
I won't say beer, but yes, all of you got the message.
Old monk.
Yes. So thank you so
once
much.
Again, once again, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Abhijit. Yeah, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck, Manu. Good luck, Abhijit, for the rest
Yeah,
of
thank you, Antriksh. Thank you.
Bye.
I hope we can meet at Nullcon.
See you guys soon.
Yeah,
Take
see you
care.
guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.